This week on Hermitcraft.
A dream. How? What even?
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And at this point, the game of tag initiated by Grian has been moving so fast that the Jester hat has become a colourful blur. So for those of you who can't see at the speed of light, here's a quick recap within a recap. Grian threw a tea party for Lizzie, some chickens and a frog villager before winning on a technicality because Lizzie tripped and fell into the void. Lizzie then struck false symmetry with lightning using a lightning rod. False attempts to kill a lot of people with dripstone, but it finally takes with Ollie the Orion sound when they demand a song and drop the stage from under him. Ollie coaxes good times with Scar out of the Hermitopia crew with the promise of a go on the loot, but the percussion is provided by an end crystal. And finally, Scar gets to play Sid and attempt to blow up everyone's favourite sheriff with a firework.
Dang it! Dang it, I died!
Then, thankfully, the week was over, which means we've got another few days to catch up on where it's gone next. And if we don't manage to cover all the tags in these recaps, chances are they happened on streams, or just kept accelerating until they were technically all the same space-time event. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the other space-time events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server and other related locations this week. Starting with the people who are still actually on the Hermitcraft server. When we last saw XB, he was still wandering in the wilderness of somewhere. And having put the raft in Minecraft for a while, XB Rafted happens upon a slightly fishy airship, which delivers him back to his Season 9 base?
XB, would you wake up?
Hello? Did you see, just a little short dude with like a volleyball head? No?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes?
Yeah, the volleyball Wilson? Like this guy, he was
familiar.
like, yeah, he had like a volleyball head, but like Corrales' face.
Really?
And then
I have seen neither that nor Tom Hanks.
Awakening from the dreamscape of the last episode, XB is greeted by Vintage Beef, who tells him part of the dream is true. The rest of the Hermitcraft server seems to have vanished. For his part, Beef is still taking that in his stride, making sure Rendog's stats are decided by one of his distant cousins, and spending this time adding lore text to all the effects cards. But when he awakens XB from his slumber and the latter drops by the card factory to reassess, they come to the conclusion that everyone's bases are now theirs, and shenanigans are sure to follow.
All their base are belong to us.
You're right. You're 100% right.
So, what is that? What do we do now?
I mean, whatever the heck we want?
Meanwhile, on Empire's SMP, a new surprise unearths itself in the form of Ren. Rather than being late to the party, he is late as in the late King Rendog.
What are you doing in this grave?
I have no idea. I don't know what's just happened.
Having visited the rift right before it closed, he seems to have spent 2 weeks buried in an unmarked tomb before I unearthed him to find out where all the zombie noises were coming from.
I guess because the kings of old are supposed to be buried here. And,
right.
You kind of fall into that category now, my dude.
Well, I'm not king anymore. They took it away from me,
Yeah.
PixelRiffs. They defeated me in my own
They
vault.
Breathing the fresh air once again, Rendog goes back to his roots by doing the first time grind himself instead of taking handouts. The new perspective on Minecraft encourages him to save all his first time items, which has the slightly inconvenient consequence of forcing him to do everything twice. Except his first death, which is a moment worth preserving in itself.
Through your first day on the server without dying a single time, what a professional! I may or may not have gotten a little bit frisky with a trident-wielding rotten zombie from deep under the depths of the water around the island, and he sliced me in twain at exactly the same time that I sliced him in twain.
Good Times with Scar attempts his own royal assassination. Split between the Hermits, Gobland, and Tumbletown, Scar is given a hot guy bow by Grian and told to sort out his allegiances before they cut him 3 ways to find out who is his real mother.
Well, I do want to point out I am the first hermit of Hermageddon. Never forget that.
Hermitopia.
Hermitopia, correct. The deaths. It turns out scaffolding is very dangerous.
Of course, one could assume Scar's loyalty lies with the guy he built a whole cowpoke town for and then populated with the best villagers and giant rabbits he could breed. As such, Scar embraces the hot guy persona once more and helps Sheriff Jimmy take out Whip the Goblin King. This goes poorly, not only because the cave base of the Goblin Kingdom gives Scar nowhere enough runway to gain velocity, but also Fwhip uses his cat Jelly as a feline shield, and even runs off into the neighbouring ancient city where a warden quickly incapacitates the pursuers.
Oh, there's the exit. Oh my gosh, there's 2 of them. Run!
Nevertheless, Jimmy is not too stingy with the deputy badge and bestows it on Scar after all, completely swept off his boots over how good a job Scar did with the Tumbletown trading street. With his very own Jelly the cat after all. Gotta have that canine division. Also, Jimmy is very small now, but that's a story for another recap. The Gobland Empire grows just a bit warmer this week when Tango Tech installs enough furnaces to call it central heating. Last week he's finished the bamboo farm and a roller coaster to deliver the product to the future smelting site. That thing already broke, judging by Fwhip's Twitter, by the way. Guess he just doesn't know how to drive stick.
It's a little hopping. Oh, it's hopping minecarts.
Yep.
Regardless, before Tango leaves the Hall of the Mountain King, he puts together a powerful super smelter that should cut the metal processing times by a significant amount.
So
Fancy. Oh, so fancy.
it's like a super. It works better in bulk because there's a lot of parallelism going on here. So if you're just gonna smelt like one stack, it's not gonna be that amazing. But once it gets going, if you want to do like 20 stacks, it's really fast. So
Okay.
What do you wanna
I
cook?
need to let this bamboo stack up for a good while?
No. You're good. You're good already. Yeah.
Just in time for a completely different empire to crash into the ingot market. It's all thanks to Azuma Void, who clearly wasn't content with nearly crashing the Hermitcraft server with the ENX04 copper farm, so yeah, he decided to try taking down empires too, and I did nothing to stop him.
The good news is though, after me and Pixel split up, he went and got some more zombies and actually got the farm running. And as I said, I've already covered this farm twice in my episode, so if you want to see more of what we got up to together and learn about this farm, be sure to check out Pixel's video.
Quite impressed with the copper aging apparatus I have in the basement, Azuma's excited to feed it for the foreseeable future, and so we build the same copper farm in the middle of the End Void. It's not the last of the violence done to the Void either. Jevin joins me for a nice afternoon of tricking Enderman into falling down holes, no doubt just because he was tired of not being able to fix his elytra in under a second.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Wow,
All right.
I'm impressed.
That
Minecarts
actually
have
worked really well.
Yeah, they're crowding that thing. Wow.
Oh yeah, this thing is gonna cook.
We make the farm extra spicy by also tricking Minecraft into giving us a direct teleport to it. Turns out you can convince the other end of an outer end gateway to generate midway through the void. So now it's 1 pearl's throw away and 0 perimeter needed. Still, Azuma doesn't go unpunished, and the Empire's server hardware takes its revenge when the guy builds a bamboo farm at the Hermitopia with an unbreakable flying machine, but then it breaks, twice.
And turning the flying machine off and on doesn't fix the problem, unfortunately.
There's also the issue of the Hermitopia building being an entangled amalgam of redstone farms, so navigating the outputs into their rightful place has become a bit of an issue. False Symmetry has actually made the first step towards making that house more of a home, and put up a few walls encasing some of the mechanisms in the sandstone to clay gradient. She of course balances that out by adding a tree farm and a moss farm to the pile of contraptions, but that does give Azuma Void something to play off for the foundation to hold this Psycraft sponsored Jenga tower upright.
And as you can see, given a lot more shape to the surrounding area, extended the wall down there a little bit too. There's still a long way to go with all of this though, of course.
False's Empire's counterpart isn't doing as great, what with the scary dreams and confusing visions. She instead trusts Joe Hill's vision to keep an eye on the bridge tower the other False built to find out what's up.
A little balcony.
And by
I love balconies.
Yeah, by better I mean sort of worse, but you can see well enough where the person wouldn't see you, right?
Closure gets closer when she discovers a keycard book in Hermit False's personal chest back at Hermitopia, and no one stops her from taking it because she is a False after all. Maybe the truth behind the both of them will finally be revealed. In the meantime, it helps to get all those cats out of her shop. Where did they even come from, seriously?
Is any of you the cat from mine? Because it's gone missing. It's not where it's supposed to be. Anyone? You're Ginger. It's not.
Unrelated, Joe Hills discovers his self-imposed exile from Hermitopia is now just imposed. The Hermits have put up signage branding him an enemy of the state. Surprisingly though, it's not because he stole all those totems, actually more that he was interested in preserving them.
The biggest things that can go wrong during a pursuit are running out of totems and running out of rockets. And accidentally pushing to talk.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, False. What do you need?
Hi. Just a little the skull.
Skull. I don't know if I have any of those.
Yeah. Do you have one of those?
No,
you seem to have
actually.
a lot of totems, though.
No, I do.
For a guy that's not too worried about
But luckily, he also got away with a bunch of books and quills, and after finding a quiet corner in a saloon, Joe decides to freshen up his resume and write cover letters asking for work in each of the empires, with the twist that each cover letter is based on the empire's favourite poet, which in the case of Joel Smallish Beans, happens to be himself.
You've just come and give me a free dish track. Like, that's all I would ever want, so I could pay you, maybe.
Well, let's say, though, that you had a particular foe in the future that you wanted a more incisive, targeted attack against. And I could write something designed to obliterate them.
Joe is unfazed by the fact that the Empire's crew seems intent on killing him to keep the tag game going, but they didn't know he'd escaped Hermitopia with 50 totems of undying.
Oh, I see him.
Why is he shooting me?
Totem!
That seemed inappropriate.
For no reason.
Why are you shooting at me?
Hit him.
Impulse SV, having been made more authentically dwarven by the machine of Hermitopia, is tired of being worn down by the raid farm. The answer is to set up a beacon, hence the Witherfight team up with Tango and Ijevin.
Got him.
After some time spent AFKing for the greater good, Impulse's latest contribution to the Hermitopia Tower, aside from an abundant supply of emerald blocks, is a new concrete maker of his own design, sidestepping all the TNT duplication issues by, not doing that. Instead, his machine converts the concrete, feeds you more concrete powder, and even mends your pickaxe thanks to some conveniently dispensed bottles of enchanting.
These aren't cheap, of course, and we wanted to kind of just match the amount of durability that we're using, so.
And finally, there's Cubfan, whose own video is something of a recap of its own. In a rather cozy manner, Cub showcases a few fun things that happened to him or around him over his day on the Empire's server, in this fairly cute slice-of-life way that really makes you feel at home on a server you don't play on, especially if you're okay with letting your friend blow up on one of your crossbow fireworks.
No, just go ahead and just fly off into the distance.
Oh my gosh, they're really big bangers.
And that's pretty much it for this week's Hermit Cub Recub. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, and he just released a brand new video that dives deep into the lore of Grumbot, something you may want to freshen up on given the recent developments. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, subscribe so you don't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.